Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on our way back. Yeah, it was a painful experience, but it had to be done. So hold on, let me introduce y'all to something.
My people!
My people!
The foundation of the United States rests on the sweat of my people. Every enemy of the USA has had to face my people.
My people! Ladies and gentlemen, when y'all hear me talking about my people, it ain't just no talking, okay? My people know who they are. So I'm going to continue to talk to my people. Now, the last one of the 3 stages of jurisdiction is in personum. The court must have jurisdiction over the person. So you have to tell them, sorry, excuse me, stop saying I've made an appearance, you stupid idiot. I ain't made no such thing. If I make an appearance, it'll be voluntary. I ain't making no appearance voluntarily in your jurisdiction under any circumstance. If I voluntarily put myself in your jurisdiction, prove that it was voluntary, knowing and consensual, that I did it intentionally. Go ahead, I dare you, because then you'd be lying. And now we get you for perjury because you under oath. You took an oath of office, so while you're sitting on that bench, you're under oath. So go ahead and lie to me. Some people are going to understand, other people are not going to understand because they just don't get it. Look, ladies and gentlemen, the courts have jurisdiction. Okay? They have jurisdiction. They have a jurisdiction, administrative and judicial. They operate as administrative officers and judicial officers. They cannot act in both capacities at the same time. So as a judicial officer, you have no jurisdiction over me, and you know it. And if you do, if you're operating in the capacity of a judicial officer, just go ahead and say so. If you're not in the capacity of a judicial officer, that means you're unconstitutional. That means this is not a lawful court. So you go ahead and pick which one. You've got a multiple choice question right there in front of you. You can't choose the middle. Ain't no middle ground. Silence? Can't choose that one either. Yeah, you know, just like you won't let me choose, I'm not going to let you even think about choosing. Because the law won't let you choose. Jurisdiction cannot be agreed upon. It must be mandated as a matter of law. The courts don't just have jurisdiction because they want it. The courts must have jurisdiction because the law outlines it. All right, we're going to segue one more time. Well, you know, that's what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just now reaching the smoke again. And I was 90 miles away. Was that 90? No, that was 110, 120 miles away. And here's the problem. Where I was, they had already issued evacuation stand ready notices to the area where I just came from. Because the wind is blowing everything towards the Pacific Ocean. And all I do is I feel sorry, because if it gets into that area, a lot of houses. So Altadena all over again, no joke. This fire is probably now the largest fire in California so far this year. The one that was before it, the one that is on the other side of it, that started in the same spot as it did, only was 99,000 acres. This one is over 100,000 acres as of today. So you would see 2 records being broken, although small records, but records nonetheless, for the area in which I live. Yay. All right, let's get back to this, talking about this subject matter jurisdiction over the personum. Ladies and gentlemen, the court must have jurisdiction over the persons, and the attorney submits his client to the court's jurisdiction so that the court can satisfy that prong. Courts were, in the past, at a what do you call it, stasis pattern, which was the interesting part, that they were in a stasis pattern. Sorry, I believe the vehicle that I just saw was a sheriff vehicle. No logos, no stickers, no nothing, just sitting there because he is waiting for somebody coming up the hill. But that doesn't make any sense, because if he's sitting there, the turn is 45 miles an hour. Yes, some people do 60 around that turn, but lots of people don't do 70. That's a stupid place to be parked. Hey, you know what I need? Ladies and gentlemen, this young man, Jaheem, unique in his own right. Now, getting back to the judge having jurisdiction over the parties, in personum jurisdiction, that is an absolute. Without that, there is no case that can move forward. The fact is, people are not challenging jurisdiction specifically and generally, and they're not challenging it under the right premise. Thus, they lose. Yes, the courts are corrupt because they have a duty to inform you. Now, they'll say, well, everybody's supposed to know the law. Yes, but these are not laws. So nobody's supposed to know that junk. Your policies, rules, procedures, and those stupid codes are not laws. So no one is required to know none of that stuff. Yay. Now, I do want to tell you guys, the video I did before this one, at the very beginning, you're hearing like little tickety, 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 all throughout the whole beginning of the video. That's the dirt road. Those are the rocks hitting the bottom of the vehicle. Okay? I was listening and I had to see that. The road I'm on now, if you don't pay attention, there is cement that rises out of the ground because they were being fancy and decorative. Yeah. Take out a person permanently with that jump. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your three-pronged jurisdictional issue: subject matter in persona and in rem. In rem meaning property. Okay? All right, now we're going to do what Jaheem said. We're going to leave y'all. No more. I changed. Looking back, before I changed. Gotta go. Take